Hi, I'm Rasheed Ogunlaru, and I'm really excited because I'm just about to be interviewed by my good friend Simon Paul Sutton.
So I came in a different way that time.
Yeah, I like this.
That was more professional.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I like this. As we were saying before in our other interview, that usually most people, they've got the elaborate crew who are miking everybody up, and here we're just doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
It's kind of freestyle.
Yeah, but you know, I was commenting on you the other day actually.
Oh, yeah.
About that, about the fact that you and I are we're more interested in the content and making that happen as opposed to, and you know, we love, you know, art and professionalism and, you know, something looking slick and, you know, the camera quality and so on. Great, we can see that as an aspect, but we don't allow that to limit us.
No, quite
but anyway,
right.
This is about you, enough about us. Hey, congratulations, first and foremost.
Thank you very much.
It's an amazing achievement to write your second book.
Yeah. Do you want to show?
Right there. I'm doing the interview. Yeah. Everyone knows you've written a book. No, but honestly, because, you know, it's called Soul Trader. And I don't normally do things to promote people, you know I don't, because I'm more about the person. And I've done a lot of interviews with you, not even interviews, sorry, we've had a lot of conversations on the sofa, we've hooked up and we've done a number of things. But it's, yeah, you know, when reading this and what you've shared, and I know you asked me if I hear you speaking in it, and it's like, yeah, but, you know, it's a real achievement to put everything that you've experienced over the last how many years now?
Best part of 10 years.
Best part of 10 years, isn't it? Right, into one sort of, you know, amalgamation, and then put that out there. So, you know, so you should be proud.
Thank you.
Very beautiful book. So it is about the book, but it's more about you. So, you know, it's more about where it's at. So first I'd like to ask you, the bit that really stuck out for me in there is the wonderful thing you said about how it's speaking to the heart.
Yeah.
So from a business perspective, having worked with a lot of, you know, professional people from independents to CEOs and so on, you know, what's your intention with that?
That's a beautiful question. Well, first and foremost, my first intention is to be true to me and be true to my heart. So that's all I've ever really been interested from as long as I've been interested in doing anything, to be true. So from the time when I first moved from being employed and I was made redundant, I knew I wanted to follow my own heart. And at that time, first of all, it was about singing. And when I was singing, I was trying to write songs that were true to my heart because that's all I knew about. And then I kind of went on this, some might call a kind of heart journey. That took me to all sorts of places. I became a Samaritan volunteer. I was pursuing my own thing. I retrained as a coach because I wanted to help people take charge of their own lives, their own careers, and so on. And strangely, I found myself, of the people mainly I was coaching, were people running their own business. And that's really been interesting to me, and I think that I want to be true to that. That's been a beautiful thing because there are all sorts of people, many of them are teachers, leaders and healers doing all sorts of magic things. And for me, I think one of the things that I found that was maybe my unique selling point was that I was passionate about helping them to connect with who they are at heart and doing business their way, in a way that's true to them and true to the people it is that they're serving. So for me, can you do anything any other way? I'm not sure I personally can do anything any other way, and I think there's always an invitation of life. You know, I've got that saying, sooner or later you hear what your heart's always been telling you. Stop trying to be who you think you should be, become who you are. Well, for me, that's a call from the heart. Everything is always a call from the heart, everything. So whether business is working for you, whether business isn't working for you, whether your life's working for you, it is a call from the heart to be true to your heart. And in the times that we're in now, where everything's kind of falling down, also the business, the economies, everything else, you've got to be true to your heart. There's no choice, whether you like it or not, sooner or later.
Or you're going to feel a lot of, you know, unease and pain and suffering and so on. The book's full of, like, you know, juicy little inspirational quotes. You've got practical exercises. You've put, like, you know, you've put a lot of even your coaching, you know, tips. You've got testimonials in there in terms of, well, actually more case studies as opposed to testimonials. Case studies of, you know, you quote people that you've actually, this is like real experience that you've had and you've taken it away, and, you know, you use metaphors and so on. So, I mean, it's jam-packed, isn't it? It's like, you know, and what I also love, or how I see it, is it's a bit of a manual. Because it's not like you just, you know, you might read it one front to back, but also you can dive in there, you can take a bit out for whichever aspect of your business you're at. You know, you can really use it like a little bit of a business Bible, as it were. You know?
I'm so glad you said that, because I think one of the things I was very aware when I was writing it, I wanted it to be a couple of things. I wanted it to be authentic again. So I knew that when I was writing it, I wanted to include the stories of all the people I was meeting and so on. And you mentioned the book, I think we met during the writing of the book. And so I really wanted to mention the people I'd met who were doing their own things and who were coming from that heart space of running a business. And I included a lot of the case studies, also people who I were coaching at that particular time, because I wanted to ensure that it was authentic. Not only was it authentic what I wanted to write, but I wanted to make sure that it was really alive and that I was testing out all the things that I was talking about whilst I was doing the book. I wanted it to be true, and I wanted it to be a kind of coach yourself thing. I'm really passionate about people being able to take charge of their own lives, their own careers, their own destinies, their own magic insofar as they can when they embrace life. And so the whole setup of the book, through those 7 particular themes, I wanted for people to be able to play. And so I remember at one point getting some feedback from the editor whilst we were writing the book about how we might kind of start the book. And it suddenly had this idea. I've got a set at home of these Zen kind of cards, and I love that aspect of play. And so I really wanted somebody, with so many business books or so many books, you feel as some expert telling you what to do. Yeah. When you're running your own business, you yourself have got to find the answers. So I wanted a book that person think, actually, clarity from this, for me, compassion is that. So when they see the images and so on, they read the text, they can interpret it themselves, they can dip in. Somebody was telling me the other day, she usually reads a book cover to cover, but she was drawn first of all to the compassion thing. Quite right, because that's the heart of the book, and you need to listen to your heart. She was at a particular point where she's stressed out, there's quite a lot of stuff going on, and she needs to listen to her heart. If the thing at the back says, if your heart's not in it, why are you? Yeah. So it is that call so that you can hear what you need to hear and take from it what you want to take out from it. And as far as the content's concerned, it's quite fun. It's nice you saying that back for me, because it's what I do. I kind of always feel, in one level, as though there's nothing in it. There's almost nothing in it, because the nothing is the clarity, the transparency, just for you to draw out what works for you to do it, to follow your heart and do it that way, and in a simple way, in a creative way, not getting caught up in all the complexity. I think one thing that I also want to say, and I'm compelled to say, is that when I started in business, I knew nothing about business. Nothing. I'd worked in PR, I'd been a singer and performer, and so many people have felt as though business isn't for them. But business is for all those people who've got something to do and something to contribute in the world. I want to write business for those people, for the creative, for the people who feel it's business, those people are all sorts of people who are passionate, a person who wants to, work's not working for them, they want to do their own thing, and so that they can find their own way of doing it. And there's so many different ways of doing business. You connect with people, getting people to help you, being creative about it, being collaborative about it, and that's what I'm really, really passionate about this book, that somebody picks it up and think, you know what, this is who I am, this is the way that I can make it work, I can get other people to help me, or I can be creative, or I can do this, I can do that, so that they can run with it in whatever way is meaningful for them, and then get the expertise that they need their way, in a way that's meaningful for them, to help them. Not that it's got to be somebody else's.
So you're not actually saying that you're sticking to any particular formula. What you're actually saying is a guide here to be yourself. And actually, by you saying that, and tell me if I'm wrong, are you actually also proposing? Because I know where we are at the moment in 2012 and moving on to new ways of business, new ways of showing up. We're also, me and you speak about this sometimes, about almost needing a new word sometimes to describe things. So what you're also playing with here, as some of the other conscious entrepreneurs out there, and I say conscious meaning people that are really thinking out of the box, is you're proposing that we move beyond even business being sort of rigid and structured in a way that it always has been. You're saying what works for you, because your lifestyle, if you do it right, can be your business as well.
Completely. And one of the magical moments in there's a bit where one of the entrepreneurs who's mentioned then kindly wrote some kind words in the back of the book is Rachel L. Now. Rachel made her name, she ran a very, very successful business, and then all sorts of challenges emerged for her in her particular business. I was lucky enough to sit down with her at a particular point in all that kind of transition, and she was on a spiritual journey. She's now really passionate. She's one of those people who's really passionate about business from the heart, for spiritual business. That was calling her in her own direction to be true to herself and true to business, to change the very way in which we do business. So many people feel as though business is about competitive, it's combative. Actually, no, business can be collaborative. It can be creative, it can be compassionate. These are the days that we're in, and in fact it needs to be, because so many people find that, be it that they're employed, that the business, the organisation doesn't care about them, or that that they've got services from all sorts of particular suppliers who don't care about them, they just care about the cash. That's not sustainable. And what we've seen in 2012, you talk about 2012, is that so many, and over the last couple of years, businesses that you would think would never crash have gone to the wall. Particular people who've seen it at particular organisations who thought that they would always be safe, because they're not resonating with people anymore. Their careers can end overnight.
People are seeing through it.
And it's sad obviously to see that happen for that individual, but for all of us, there is that call from the heart to be authentic to ourselves, because also so many people are in business or in organisations and they're just hurt by it, they're stressed, they're they're ill, they're unhappy, or even that they've got the success but not the fulfillment. This book is to ensure that you bring the two things together and that you're actually fulfilled by what you're doing. You know, so many people go into business and they work so hard they forget why they're doing it for. So they run this business and they never see their friends or their family and so on. That's ludicrous unless that's what you're wanting and what works for you.
Yeah.
So
there's like a massive disconnect between, isn't it? Like, I never see my family, I don't go home, I have one day a week, and you know, you don't incorporate your relationship into the business. It's such a separation. Something that I think coming out of that is really beautiful. So let's because you're speaking a lot here about heart, speaking a lot here, soul trader, authenticity. What does the heart is a pulsating thing that we have in our body, right? Yeah. So what does the heart mean for Rasheed Ogunlaru? Yeah. I know you sort of just mentioned some of that, but what does the heart mean for Rasheed Ogunlaru?
And I guess it means something slightly different, but for me it's the source, it's the core, it's the kind of thing you can't even put your finger on. But it just strikes me that the head isn't the centre, the heart far more is. You know, people have said my heart's not in it and so on. And it's interesting, those people who are experts in this, and I don't claim to be an expert in the cardiology and all of this kind of stuff, or in the body and all of that kind of stuff, but they're finding now that the heart has intelligence, it has neurons, and that it's the strongest electromagnetic field in the body. But for me, on a very everyday thing is, what is it that you're calling out to do? And you know, so many people just got that sense, you can just see that there's a disconnect, or that they're just not feeling it and so on. For me, that's what the heart is about. It's just that just seems to be constantly calling you. I can't even put my finger on it, but what I have found is that over the years I've been coaching people, more and more people are talking about the self aspects of business, and I don't mean selfish aspects of business. I mean the bits about what they're about, where they're at, why are they really doing the business. These questions, you know, there can even be a feeling when you're business coaching somebody, you're just coaching them on their business. But business is meaningless unless you understand who the other person is, and that's why the first bit is the soul. You know, soul's a play on the word soul. Most businesses start out with one person. In the UK alone, there's about 4.5 million businesses. If they're that number, most of those businesses are one person, or really small businesses started off by one person. So who are you? What are you about? Who's your customer? Who are your customers? What are they about? How can you truly serve them and you can connect with them? That's what this is about. It's about really doing that business from your heart to somebody else's heart, serving them truly and honestly, so that the only way that you can get, strikes me, that the only way that you can get what you want in life is to be it. Yeah. And this book is that invitation for you to be it. Who am I? What am I about? What can I create? What are my skills? How can I do that in a way that's authentic to me? Who do I need to help me? Who can help me? Because maybe I don't know about counselling, maybe I don't know about that. And dipping into those people that we already know. And the resources that you already have to be able to build a business that serves you and that serves everybody around you. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's about an invitation of doing a business in a completely different way, and it's necessary.
Yeah,
you know,
it's definitely, it's necessary and rare at the moment. Okay, so I think we got the time for another question.
No, yeah.
Yeah, so like you said, you're a musician. You know, you've put your heart into this. I mean, this is Rasheed Ogunlaru's heart. That is it. This is your heart and soul, right? There's a song in that as well. You got soul. What's that one? Is there a song called Soul?
Oh, I'm sure there's so many.
I'm gonna get him singing now. He's not going to sing for you guys, but so you've compiled this almost 10 years of, like, you know, your heart, your work, your transparency and your authenticity into this, to put out into the world to make a difference, but with no expectation. I know you have no expectation or attachment to that, but you know, I know that a lot of what you do is about really making a difference, even though you don't proclaim that to be the case. So from this point on, is this a sort of ceiling of where you're at? Is there something in your heart? Where's your heart driving you now?
It's a really beautiful question. Thank you. I think on one level, it's a consolidation of all that kind of work. The book itself emerged serendipitously, so I'm very, very grateful to the publishers, Coke and Page. I really am, because Liz Goost, who's the editor-at-large, who's also a business coach. We met at a particular event at the British Library where I coach and run workshops, and we had a conversation. So the thing about conversation, the book emerged from conversation and a natural connection. We had a conversation, and then she asked me, you know, so I'm planning to write another book. I'd self-published some books. So even for me, the way that the book has emerged as a gift, and I just want to do whatever it is true to me, and that's all I have to try and do. Be it in my background as a singer or in coaching anything else, I just try and do what is true to me, and that I hope will resonate, and that I hope will be of service, and to try and invite that person to go on a journey that's kind of meaningful for them. I think for me, this book is, whenever you're writing something or where you're speaking, it is an opportunity to almost it's an invitation. You get an opportunity in a way to invite people to look again. You know, it's kind of slightly different when you're coaching somebody one-to-one, where it's very much about what they're doing. You're able to, when you're running a workshop or when you're producing a product, to in a way kind of influence or comment on the round. And I think that this is a little bit of that contribution to those people who are looking at who are we, where are we at, how can we live in a way that is true to us, and to appreciate, and actually just to appreciate. Because for me, it's a consolidation of my work, which is simply about, I think all the things that I've learned is that life embraces those who embrace life. It is an invitation, like all of my work, it's all the same stuff. To embrace you, embrace what you do, embrace others too. That's all that there is. That's all that there is to it, really. You know, life is just this magical thing that bubbles up and that we find ourselves part of. So this is just an invitation just to be and breathe.
So yeah, so from your perspective, in terms of exactly what you just described, which is, I love what you do. See, what Rasheed always does is he always brings it back to the not the other, meaning that you don't, but you're so giving from that space of like, really, you know, I know everything you do is to serve, you know, and I know that serves you at the same time, because the giving and the receiving is simultaneous, right? That's why we do what we do, right? So in terms of what you just described, really that's the embodiment of Rasheed Ogunlaru.
Well, it is.
You're saying that, because you're saying this even emerged, so it's not even about, okay, now I've done this, I'm going to go and do 2 more books and I'm going to do this. It's not even, future's not even about it for you. You're just about embodying that which you live and breathe, that which you write about, and then being in that moment to what emerges out of that, to really be open and embrace.
To be open. And I guess there is another aspect to it as well that emerges from that, and I think it's tied in with the book. When somebody is still and is clear about what they're about and their values and so on, you can be who you are and be who you are in the world. Because I think for me that there's kind of 2 questions. There is a spiritual, you know, the book starts off by saying that I talk about a story in the, I say at all my beginning of my workshop, there's the head and then there's a heart. So when there's 2 questions, if you like. There's a spiritual question, there's a material question. The spiritual question is, who am I? And people can pontificate about that all day long. And that first chapter on clarity invites you to take that as deeply as you want to. Okay, I'm me and I'm trying to make these cupcakes, or I'm trying to be compassionate to everybody I meet in the world. So when one is clear about who one is, then one can deal with a material question: what am I to do in the world? And I guess that for me, my work, a lot of it is working with people who are teachers, leaders and healers. And I guess entrepreneurs are a part of that kind of thing. And so my invitation is for them to be authentic with themselves and authentic with themselves in the world. And I guess for me, I'm part of that too. In some way, shape or form, that's what I am too, as a coach, as a speaker,
and a teacher, leader and a healer.
And to be there. So I'm quite excited about the fact there's something kind of independent of me that's there in the world that is also just vibrating, that people might just find there in a bookshop and be drawn to. I'm quite excited about that, and it might, you know, it's as my little contribution to invite people on that journey of, you know, in a way of raising our consciousness, raising our awareness. Because for me, it's not the world that needs to change. It's our consciousness we need to raise. When we raise our consciousness, we're more aware of who we are, we're able to embrace ourselves, we're more at peace with ourselves, we're more at peace with our mind, we're more at peace with the other, people in our lives, our families, our relationships, the people we do business with, and that resonates with everything. The world is absolutely fine, the world is absolutely beautiful, as we can see. Very often it's just the noise in the mind. It's the noise in the mind, so the book is that invitation to come back to the heart. Come back to the heart.
Come back to the heart, yeah.
And it's that thing, you know, when you're saying that thing, you know, you've got soul. Things from that song, if you didn't, you wouldn't be in here.
Yeah.
And so we are from that space. So it's an invitation to come back to the heart, whatever it is you want to do, whether you want to carry on working in an organisation, whether it is you want to run your own business, whether you're a singer, performer, or creative. Be who you are, sing your song.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, because if you be who you are and sing your song, if you don't cloud the idea that there's going to be some, you know, oh, I can't do that because this is happening, and you're not just looking at the idea of the pain. If everybody come back to that, be, you know, to the heart and sing your song, actually all the ills or the so-called disruptions and the unconsciousness and the pain and suffering that is out there in business, you know, and don't just mean globally, I mean in business, in relationship and so on, actually takes care of itself.
Completely, and there's a flow of events. From the first thing about clarity, one stopping being still and connecting to oneself. Then customers, okay, who am I trying to serve? Who are those people I'm trying to deal with? Courage. Does one have the courage to be oneself? Cooperation. Good word. Courage. And then cooperation. We're all interconnected. We're all ultimately one. We're all different leaves on the tree, and we all vibrate differently in the breeze, and we all move differently in the breeze, but we think we're so separate, but we're interconnected. So who is it that I need? Who is it that can help me on that particular journey? So then there's that thing about cooperation. Then there's conversations. This is your whole thing. How can one have those authentic powerful connections that are rich, that serve everybody, whether it is, whether that's on your website, whether it's when you're speaking to your partner when you're going out to run your business, the person in the shop, your staff members, the conversations come from that particular space. And then there's this whole thing about being creative. We are creative. We are an expression of creativity. Business is an expression of creativity. And then at the heart of the book, compassion. Because if you don't care about you, if you don't take care of yourself, you'll have no business. There's somebody in there, wonderful guy, trying to do all sorts of things, helping people all around the world. But actually he was working so hard, even though he was working from a compassionate space, he wasn't taking care of himself. So if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to have no business, you're not going to be here, your health's going to suffer. And if you don't take care of everybody else, then it's meaningless anyway. So that thing about being compassionate, which makes the whole thing rich, and it adds value, and your customers are also going to love you, and you're going to love what you're doing, and you're going to get the fullness. You're not going to get the fullness if you're not compassionate about that. And then there's a last theme around change, because everything changes, everything's transit. We've just moved into autumn now.
Change is constant.
It's that constant, and who you are, what you want, and what life is to you will change, and so on. So there's this natural flow, and these things are actually all interweave anyway, and that's what the book is about.
No, I'm just checking. I was just checking that you covered them all.
Yeah,
you covered all 8, didn't you?
But I just want to thank you, because I think that in this kind of conversation, you've really kind of drawn out all of what the book is about, because it's not just a business book.
No, this is a way of life.
The thing is, for me, I'm partly surprised that of the main things I'm known for as a business coach.
Yeah.
But I'm somebody who's just inviting people to life.
Yeah.
That's what my job is. My job is that I'm a speaker. I hear what's being said, and I invite people to embrace life. Yeah. That's the whole deal. So for me, in a way, I'm not even saying anything in that book. Yeah. I'm not saying anything. The book, and it's got tools and practical tools, but ultimately it's an invitation to you to be you and say.
Yeah, and in fact, lovely. Sorry, I jumped in there, but also it's an invitation for you to say something. That's nice, isn't it? You're not actually saying it. It's not about somebody going, oh, it's Rasheed and Rasheed's great. It's about, no, who are you? Because you're already in the essence of who you are. It's not about you now going, look, this is me. It's about, no, who are you?
Yeah.
And I love
to
that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
To appreciate that and to flow from that particular space.
Yeah, and there's a couple of other books, and today this is about yours, but I really just want to say to the viewers that, I don't know where you can purchase this, obviously on Amazon now. Yeah,
you can get it on Amazon.
Pre-order, or you can actually buy now.
You can pre-order it on Coca-Cola. It comes out on the 12th of October, so if you're watching this post the 12th of October, you can order that. Even now it's available on Amazon or from Kogan Page and from bookshops. Yeah. So check it out if you're interested.
Yeah, if you're interested. And I'm excited about the richness of the new literature that's coming out. I mean, for me, 2012, and everyone was saying it was the end of the world last year, but I mean, for me, it's like there's a rich unfolding, and I just want to acknowledge you for being part of that, the catalyst of what's bringing that through in business.
Yeah.
So,
not
and
sure
life.
I'm not sure if I'm the catalyst, or I'm not sure if I'm one of the logs that's just burning.
No, but even better, because the more logs that are burning, then the bigger the flame.
Yeah, wonderful.
Isn't it?
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
A real pleasure. Thank you very much, my friend.
Always
a real pleasure. Well, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to leave you to smile and to show them the cover. I love the cover, by the way. They did a wonderful job. The people who designed that captured the essence of that too.
I'm selling it. I don't sell products, but I don't mind doing this for Rasheed because I love him.